Night Parents. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. Back in the saddle again. I call this the Terror Dome episode because it's like, welcome to the Terror Dome, because I get to spar verbally with my boy, True Armor. True, what's going on, man? It's been a while.
Hey, good. Thanks for having me, man. I feel super excited to be here. Wow, what a nice studio. Very nice office you have here. I like the accoutrements and the treats that you gave me when I showed up.
Only the best for you. You know, the green room, everything else like that. It's
exactly the tote bag. I dig it.
It's a great world. It's a great world. It's a great life. How are you dealing with that so-called bomb cyclone that will almost hit us or missed us, or all the above?
I gotta tell you, man, it was freaking beautiful here today. It really was. I had a really bad day. I said so on my pod today, but It was. I also mentioned that how beautiful a day it was, and you only get days like that when you get storms like that brewing someplace, right? It rained really, really hard yesterday, and now it's still windy AF. It drizzled here a little bit, but those fat, pregnant clouds full of rain were all over the place. Half the sky was super gray, and then like 20 minutes later, the other half of the sky will open up and be super bright. It was just beautiful. It was magnificent, especially on these Virginia roads where like you get a lot of like roadway to see the horizon. We're from New York, so you don't get a lot of horizon in New York. But it was just amazing. But having said that, it's like like we were talking about this earlier. It's warmer in New York than it is here in the South.
Yeah. It's like about 62 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's like 55.
Very, very warm outside. Up here, it's going to rain, in theory, for the remainder of the night into the morning, early morning, just before I get ready to go commute to the city.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well. Hey, big shout out to Bucko Bruce, my brother, and Tony D, little bro. Shout out to both of you guys.
Tony.
True. Before we even get started, my boy Danny Thompson was on. He's around about the Tidewater area. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, that's right by me.
Yeah. So he was like, hey, with you being local, he's on 8:50 a.m. sports radio. He's on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. He was like, since he knows you're from Virginia, he would love for you to listen into the show and maybe even call in.
Oh, well, yeah. Because I talk about this on my show. I need to find a sports, because I'm in a new market, essentially. So I need to, maybe I will like tune in, definitely. Because I need to know this market. Because I'm not getting any New York Jets or Giants.
A lot of local sports. But with that being said, there's a couple things, that you kind of want to, let me see, a couple of things I can get off my chest. I'm going to say this. What don't we have right now? 100% clean energy by 2035. Home care for the elderly.
2035 is 15 years away, 14 years away, but go ahead.
Home
it sounds
care.
Like it's the future, but it's...
Would you let me read my list and then you can comment on it?
All right, fine. All right, sorry. I apologize.
Oh, come on, man. It's the banter. I know we haven't talked in a whole time, but home care for the elderly and disabled, free community college, lower prescription drug costs, higher taxes on corporations and millionaires.
Right.
Well, you don't have those things because you don't have the Build Back Better stuff. Hey, what's up, James? Good evening. Speaking of markets, what do you think of cryptocurrency market currently? Well, it's looking pretty darn good, James. So, True. What do you have to say about a couple of those things that I mentioned?
Oh, well, let's go through them one by one. What was the first one?
100% clean energy by 2035.
Yeah, that's like 14 years away. I'm just gonna go ahead and call bullshit on that right now. Uh,
Okay.
let's just tilt this up a little bit because I see the chiron hitting my forehead. I just think what we've been doing since the 80s is kicking the ball down the road and leaving it for another generation. And first it was 50 years, and then it was 30 years, then it was 20 years, now it's 14 years. And this is where they screwed up. We're all going to be alive for the most part. Uh, God willing, knock on wood, all of us. Uh, yeah, I don't see it. Um,
Home
China,
care for.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Australia, who's our ally, relies heavily on coal still. So does China. All right. Our ally, Australia, doesn't want us to move forward as fast as we are because they don't have oil, right? They don't have oil fields like America. They don't have natural gas reserves, right? They're on coal. Um, yeah, you can't even get everybody on the same page. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, so big shout out
Tony
to
D in the
Cope's
chat.
Corner. Cope's Corner is in the chat. Big shout out to you.
Yeah.
Um, Mike Copenhaver, who has the greatest MMA show on this platform. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but you really would be tuning in. He's regularly midweek, but this week he's going to be on Friday. So you make sure you check him out. Question: James Namist, our friend, says, what if there was a technology that can reduce pollution and generate energy at the same time?
What is? What is? What is? What? I'm not even okay. What is? If we're gonna ask what is, I've got way more interesting what is questions, and they involve like saunas and Rodora Dawson and like the world's most expensive bottle of champagne. If we're gonna go under what ifs, why don't we deal with what we have now and what is, man? That's always a road to nowhere.
Thank you for the donation, Mike. Thank you for the donation, Tony D. Um, let's leave that to the side. Home care for the elderly and disabled.
Yes, that should be a given. And I've said this before. Healthcare for the elderly and disabled, as well as like children under like 18. And if you want to be stingy about it, then children at least under 13. You know what I mean? You want them to have the best because they're the next generation of Americans, right? So when you're old and creakily, you want to make sure they're not sinister and ridiculous. You want to give them a fair shot. So God forbid those who do fall off the rail to become knuckleheads, criminals or whatever, can't can't say they didn't have a fair and decent shot. So yeah, healthcare for the elderly and the old, as well as the at least the 10 and younger, right? At the very minimum, the prenatal crowd, right? All should be stuff that we have, even if it's not universal for everybody. That's I don't see how that's not a common sense thing to want. So yeah, I'm for that.
Big Mike, I'm sorry I accidentally
I
blocked
saw that
you on
hover
this
card,
platform.
James. I'm sorry, James in the chat. He mentioned hover cards. I saw that like 2 days ago. There's oh oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. I said our guy Big Mike, I accidentally blocked him on the platform. I was trying to give him a shout out. I'm typing. I don't have my glasses on, Mike, and next thing you know, you get blocked. My
Yeah,
bad.
I actually did that to someone in my chat like 3 days ago, and Will helped me get him back. I felt so bad. I had to. Yeah, I feel good that it's not. I wasn't the only one. I'm fucking.
um, Mike, you know I got love for you, man. Wait, so before I go to the next thing,
Yeah.
let me look for James's response. There's some disclosure that's coming out, which includes the technology which also includes hover cars, and
Yeah,
we're talking in the near 5 to 10 years. All right, bring it on.
yeah.
Bring it on.
Well, here's the thing about why I mean, there's always been flying car technology. We know this, right? Since the 50s, since the Jetsons. Uh, but what happened was every now and then one would fall out the sky. And while we as an American group do some wild crap, the majority of us are voyeurs. And when something falls out the sky and lands in your yard with dead people in it, it sort of put the damper on people flying. That's why there used to be helicopters over New York. You can't fly over New York anymore. And this is before September 11th. So yeah, I mean,
Brian, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Here's a hot one: free community
hey,
college.
yes, Brian. I accidentally blocked Brian by
You
accident.
accidentally blocked Brian. Come on, man.
He was
Hey,
just
I've done it
telling.
before. I
He,
just did
he
it.
was.
I just did it. It's one of those things where this, the buttons are really, the icons are really on top of each other, and it's just like if you
Not paying
aren't
attention or
careful.
half sipping.
Right. Brian, what's going on? Brian is a great dude.
Good to
Free
see you,
community
man.
college. What's your thoughts on free community college? You want it? You don't want
Yes,
it?
yes. I think that's the least you should get. If everyone is telling you that a high school diploma gets you nothing, then the next step is free college. And if you want an educated populace, then you should encourage learning, right? So by that I mean a farmer should be able to get like a master's because he likes farming and wants to know all about the plants and stuff, as well as an artist should be able to get like a anatomy degree just because he paints at home, and in any other random, you know what I mean. It should be a given that you as an American gets a at the very minimum a college education, but most people don't because it's $30,000 a semester or some other ridiculousness, right? Education is a business. It's not. They're not trying to educate you. They're trying to sell you this dream of something, right? Um, and that's it. Otherwise, and don't give me yeah. So yeah, you can keep your Harvards and Yales and Dartmouth and Princetons and John Hopkins and all, but every state should at least have a couple of free schools to make sure that they propagate enough doctors, right? We have enough lawyers. So maybe doctors and social workers, and maybe give cops a chance to go to and further educate themselves and become lawyers. You know what I mean? But it just can't be. I mean that's the least of it. Giving us free community college when the community college system is a shit show is like giving us the Juneteenth holiday when no one asked for it. Meanwhile, people are asking for like police reform.
Lower prescription drugs.
Yes, you want healthy Americans. You can't have people choosing between rent and like medicine, mortgage and medicine. So yeah, I think the
James,
American populace is set upon by the the lobbyists who push these things on, you know. So yeah, eventually it becomes too much, and I think everyone protesting says that it's too much. So yeah, I think you got to do something about the Medicaid system, right? They were talking about eyewear and dental, and they don't want to put that in
right.
because not everybody gets cancer, but everybody has teeth. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Hello, Frida.
James James chimes in and says, I know a private company that
Thank you.
bought old military hangars and is in production to have these hover cars out for everybody and have them affordable in about 4 years. Is James talking to Elon Musk on the side and he's not telling everybody?
Here's the thing. we're we're all FaceTiming and doing video conference calls now. But that technology has been around for like 20 years, and people were like, I don't want people to see me. I'll just do this. And then it took this thing to kick it off, right? Into this Jetsons age of let me clean up my background, let me put on some makeup, maybe I should wear some pants
Hey,
because
I
you know
will
what I mean?
chime in on this
Let me
one.
remember to cut so all these early stage hiccups of like this new dynamic, whatever this is, that everybody's
Frida, how
having.
you doing? Frida, thank you for joining. I will say this much: I've been supporting video chats, video conferencing for the last 15 years.
But you're a tech
So,
guy,
right.
right?
So, but I'm
You're
saying
a tech guy.
You're on point when you say
We're
this
talking
is
about
not new.
housewives, and now grandmas get to finally get the hang of it, and then see their kids on like this and this was the impetus for this explosion. So you can imagine where it's going to be in like 20 years.
All right. So I was just on another live stream and I gave a brief monologue. And the monologue is in tune with what our lawmakers are talking about. How social media and these companies have become so toxic. They use us every step of the way. Algorithms control everything. A lot of this stuff is built on emotion, hate. It's
Fear.
People
can't control it. They don't know what to do with it. You keep hearing people getting, what is that, ransomware, and all of a sudden,
ransomware. You can get that.
There's a lot of how could they can't catch the bad guy. So there's a lot of fear behind it. It's a lot of stuff going on in this thing. It's like the technological version of like the Salem witch trials, right? Where like you think someone talking, but and you can't figure out a why. And this is where we all are. It's very few people, not very few people, but that computer shit is the discipline, and
Nazim, how you doing?
They need to rein it in, and they don't know how.
Nazim is chiming in from Italy. Nazim says, I sense that the government is going to put a lid on social media very soon.
I don't know about that. They didn't do that with the tobacco industry, and everybody had it with them. And then you just sort of the way American democracy seems not democracy. The way the American Congress seems to work is they hold hearing and hearing and hearing, and then they do nothing. The wheels have to be literally falling off. And we're in a pandemic, and it's still a 50-50 split. We've got bridges falling down, and you can't get anybody to agree on shit, right? So I don't know if they're gonna put a lid on them. I think they need a scapegoat to explain their incompetence, right? There's always a hearing about something, and this is it now, because they don't want to investigate like the Afghanistan debacle, right? So yeah, I don't think just because there's a hearing doesn't mean that anything will happen.
So true. You were former law enforcement. I have a question for you.
This is true. Yes.
What measures can police departments take to increase public trust? Because it's shot, it's gone, it's not there. We don't see it. We only hear about, these horror stories.
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing you might want to look at is hiring people from within that community, or within at least a 10-mile. Well, it depends on. I want to say 10 miles because I'm thinking about here, but in New York, I say who live within a mile of the city. Right here, I would say within 10 miles of like the locale, because they're more familiar with the area, right? So I would say you want a 75% of your department from the area who lives there, right? They have a stake in the environment, but you don't want to keep it like that. You want to make sure that other groups get to come in from, And so I think that's one aspect. The major aspect might be getting rid of this nepotism. Old boys. This is our police department, and you know what I mean. Kind of like people. I mean, some of these organizations have become clubs for groups, and they should be municipalities, right? So it's going to take someone higher up than protesters, and by that I mean likely, state. If it's a state department, if I'm sorry, if it's a local department, then the states have to do it, and if it's a state department, then the feds have to do it. But you have to make sure that there's not racist nonsense and random violence and all this other stuff that we've been seeing forever, that we in the black community have been saying for like 100, 200, 300 years now. You know what I'm saying? Official actually since like the 1880s, that the whole thing was unfair, right? So it's not a mystery. It's just, and it's just proven that we've been tolerating some harsh and evil stuff, and you've seen the behavior. It's not just directed racially from one group to another. It's bullies. It's bullying, right? I mean, you've seen cops slam women and like so it's you can just get rid of those people. No one needs them. You know what I mean? And you can still have a police department of good standing. And yeah, so but the bad guys are in charge, so someone's got to take them on. Just like I hate to say it, just like Rudy Giuliani took on the mob and undid them. That's for whatever you think about Rudy Giuliani. He came to prominence on, I swear to God, a fucking white horse, because he dismantled uh, the American mafia, not just in New York, but that link that he broke in New York, those five families, Gotti and the guy who they shot in front of the steakhouse, and all this when he was a U.S. attorney of the Eastern District, seeped into like Chicago and yeah, man, yeah. So and before he became, Rudy Giuliani of today, but yeah, at one point he was serious.
I want to dip real quickly. Um, I want to talk Alec Baldwin, but I don't want to talk Alec Baldwin. I just want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
In what world is it okay to aim and pull a trigger on a weapon at someone that's not attacking you?
Well, here's the thing. That's a loaded question. See, it's a movie set, so I'm supposed to aim and pull a trigger at you, right? It's the whole point of make believe, right? I can't do this with you at the bakery or the gas station, right? But I can do this on you in a make believe Western set where there are fucking horses, right? My question that I've been asking all week on my pod is, why was there a live round? And then, you know, we actually settled this shit like 3 days ago. We're like, the only reason I can see that there's a live round is people were playing with guns, because they were actual. I mean, they're actual guns, right? They fire bullets and they fire actual. They fire blanks and they fire actual bullets. So I can see, and it's New Mexico, right? So you film you and I come up with this movie thing, and we go, okay, we're gonna shoot it. We're New Yorkers, right? So then, but it's Western, so we fly to New Mexico, and then we hire local people. And I'm pretty sure they didn't fly in the guns. They probably had a local gunsmith who did the movies there, right? And they probably fuck around with the guns and shoot, and what they call it, plinking, shoot cans off the thing and have a barbecue and talk shit and like listen to like the radio. And then the next day, like after the weekend's over, they throw all the guns back in the bag and bring them back to the set, right? That's what I thought. I heard. I heard today that they might have been having target practice while on the set, which then tells me, oh, you definitely know who did it, because everybody, I mean, maybe the cook doesn't know. He could think it's them practicing, a scene with blanks or whatever. But if the actors and other people around, because you have to take the gun from, right, would know who's practice shooting on set, right? And that's a tricky word too. So I've been on movie sets. So set means everything from like where you put your makeup on to when they run in and go, we need you on set in 10 minutes, right? So that on set means you in front of a camera. So it looks like they were in this place rehearsing, and she was a camera person. She was in front of him with the camera, and the director was behind her. So how she got shot apparently in like the abdomen, and then went through her abdomen and hit him in the shoulder. So since men are taller than women, right, you can assume it went right. So I can see her leaning over him and some corny scene where he shoots from like the church bench, right? And there's a live round in it, and he catches her, goes clean through her, and hits the guy behind her in the shoulder. So bam. But here's the thing: why was there a live round though? I get people are talking about, oh, why was there guns on the set? It's not guns. I mean, it's make believe. Some guns are rubber when they hold you in a headlock and cart you off, but some guns are real because you need them to make a sound.
So I want to chime in with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, and let me finish. Anyone with an ounce of common sense would not take a gun from any source without checking its status. So I'm left to assume, and you know what happens when you assume,
right?
That Alec Baldwin knew that he was being handed a gun by someone who was not an armorer.
Right, but here's the way I heard it, right? But and also as someone who's been on movie sets before.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I just want to follow up by saying, then if you know the person's not an armorer, then to point a weapon at someone and pull the trigger on a gun. I'm going to leave it there with you. We're not going to talk about safety rules or anything else like that.
No, we're talking about make believe.
That with you.
I mean, that's make believe, right? You're supposed to pull a trigger. There's a ton of movies with the gun aimed at the camera, right? It's totally make believe. I totally get that. I totally get why there are actual guns on set made to fire blanks. I don't get why in a make believe environment there's any actual live rounds on set. That's what I don't understand. And I totally get why he would pull the trigger because he's an actor, right? And I totally get why a very famous person would have. I'm fucking Alec Baldwin. I'm not gonna check the gun. I should have 3 people down the line check that gun and have it brought to me on a silver fucking platter, because this is people make millions of dollars in this industry, and if you get a hit of a movie, you can make $1 billion, right? So all this kind of I'm about to say 1,000-year swag, but essentially since like movies became movies and they got to live in giant houses in the best part of the country, right, until the water ran out and the fire started. But we all know their names and we all wish to have their lives. So why would he have to then go check his own gun, right? That gun should have been checked long before it got to Alec Baldwin. But it's a low budget movie. So then all these safety things begin to get whittled. Remember, there was a woman who was run over on a train trestle by a train when they were filming the movie, and they found that director guilty of manslaughter, and it essentially ended his career. And they threw that movie in like the vault, never to be seen. This could be one of those. This might end Alec Baldwin.
I agree with Nazim. Very sad. Any way you look at it, and this is for all intended parties.
Yeah, I think it is sad. But I don't know if it isn't Alec Baldwin. I mean, he said someone will go down for this, and it ain't Alec Baldwin. And I don't think he'll go down for murder, obviously, even though he pulled the trigger. I think the people playing with the gun who left a round in it. And I heard today that they were looking for some people on the call sheet, and 3 people weren't there. And then they were talking about people who were playing with it. They're going to give you up. Like Eminem said, the whole neighborhood knows you and they'll expose you, which is one of the best like lines I've ever heard about like telling somebody about crime. Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty wrapped up in about 10 days. Give it not much.
Frida, thank you for the donation. Last topic of the evening. We'll talk a little sports. We'll talk Tom Brady, his 600th touchdown. Whole lot of talk about it. A whole lot. And James, if you're still here,
pay that man.
Like this one.
He got robbed.
So you got a fan.
Like Pawn Stars.
I don't know if he's a super fan or whatever the case
What is this?
is.
The Ark of the Covenant? I don't know, man. I give you $2 for it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And the guy who got robbed.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, yes. There was a robbery. And Tom Brady and the Buccaneers went in there without a ski mask. Without a ski mask, Nazim.
To applause, no less.
Yes, to applause. And so here's the deal. Here's the deal. I want to give it a rundown. Mm-hmm. So you have in your possession Tom Brady, the great Tom Brady, the GOAT, 600th touchdown pass. Me, I'm running like hell. Okay, but there's an exchange, there's a negotiation, whatever the case is. James is back in the what's saying? He's back in the chat. He said he stopped caring about football after the Super Bowl with the satanic halftime show. But yeah, they destroyed the Bears. I didn't even see the halftime show.
What was satanic about it?
I don't even know who even performed. But listen, here's the deal. So the team or members of the team, members of the front office staff or whoever, negotiate with you, True. And they say, we're going to give you one Bitcoin.
$1 million. No, I'm sorry.
No. They're going to give you one Bitcoin. They're going to give you tickets for the next 2 seasons. I don't know if that includes playoffs or and the like. So that's at least 16 games. I don't know if that includes. I don't know. Yeah, season tickets
for 2 seasons. That's bullshit. I mean, season tickets forever.
Yeah, but just hold on. 2 season tickets.
I'm losing my shit already.
No. Let me. I got to build this up, and you're just. I'm
sorry.
No, we're having fun with it. So one Bitcoin, which is roughly, I don't know, 60,000 or $63,000 of the week. Okay. Season tickets for the next 2 seasons.
It's a year.
So that's 16 games.
Season tickets for but
okay.
It's a one in a lifetime ball. I should get a season tickets forever. But okay, go ahead.
Mike Evans.
Other shit is cake, but Pat,
you gotta let me finish.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mike Evans jersey and cleats signed. A Tom Brady jersey. You're not letting me finish, so I can hand it over to you with a bow.
All right, let's go.
Okay, you know what? That's the package. Go ahead. You take it from there.
Look, all that other stuff is bullshit. It's a once-in-a-lifetime ball, right? And likely not to be repeated. At least not to be repeated. Well, the way people repeat people's records, it might not be repeated at least for like the next 40, 50 years, right?
Yeah.
At the very minimum, he should have got season tickets forever, right? They should have just given him season tickets. I could have put it on eBay and got more than $63,000, which is what the price of the Bitcoin is.
Okay.
And the people who wanted it set the price for it, right? And the free market didn't. Right, they boxed out everybody else. It's just sort of. It looks like he got taken advantage of, and right now he's hyped because of all the attention, and this is recent. But after all the attention and the glare goes away, he's going to be sitting there going, "I should have got like $1 million fucking dollars for that ball, and I got this bullshit Bitcoin."
What were they saying? That like 600K on the open market, and I'm like, all you have to do is play the waiting game. You'll get a cool $1 million for it.
Yeah.
So question for those in the comments.
Verified because everybody saw him give it to you and where you were sitting, and now the next day you're at your house in an American what are you going to say, deposit box, talking about it and going, we're going to put it on auction for Christie's. And you know how many baseball fans who are millionaires who live in Boston who want that ball, who will pay you $1 million for it, and you got 63. I think it's just. And I think they got to him before a lawyer could get to him. right?
Yeah.
And I don't think you've heard the last of it though. I really don't.
We don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think it was.
so the
I think it got
person
nervous.
who has the ball, who had the
Yeah,
ball at the time,
chump change, just like Nazim said in the
um,
chat.
the person who had the ball was a medical resident. I would
That
have
would
been
have paid
like,
off his medicine. Yeah,
pay for my,
yeah,
hey,
exactly.
you wanna really pay for something. Also, they gave him, ready for this, Nazim? The team gave this person $1,000 gift certificate to use in their team store. I'm like, if you go into the team store,
$1,000.
a jersey is already $200. An actual
Wow.
jersey is $200. So what are you getting? You getting
I'm
his and
giving
her
you money
jersey,
that you have to spend when I tell you to spend it. It's
right?
it's so it's so evil. Hey, here's
So
$1,000 that you have to spend here and give right back to me. But you can only spend on my merchandise. It's not bargained down or half price or anything. It's really, he got fucked over. Excuse my language. He got screwed. I would
now we
buy
already screwed the
5
pooch already.
jerseys.
Don't even worry about it.
James. I would buy 5
You buy the jerseys and give them to
of the
friends and just be
same
like, all
team.
right, I'm
I
gone.
don't know how many. Who would I buy? Why would I buy 5 jerseys of the Giants? I would like 5 of different teams, maybe.
Well,
Let's
it's
go
the
into
Bucks. It's the Bucks
go in-
team. What's the name? It's the Bucks team store.
yeah, but who
So,
would I even 5 jerseys?
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was
5
funny.
Tom
But if you
Brady.
listen to Joe Buck and you listen to Troy Aikman,
Yeah,
they're like, oh yeah, that guy got fleeced.
yeah, they're right.
They're
But I'm
right.
pretty sure they'll change that in a couple of days when the league and their agents get to him. But they were right. The first, because we look, listen, we all know what a baseball card goes for, right? What the original Superman comic book goes for, right? What a Babe Ruth home run ball goes for. All, and we see this in the modern era when it happens because there's cameras and TVs everywhere. Do not tell me a Bitcoin and $1,000 shop in my store is equivalent. It's just, you know, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, he could have got $1
So
million for that ball easily.
easily, a Pokemon card goes for $1 million. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right.
Wow, really? Yeah.
So True, tell us about your live stream. Tell us about how we get in contact with you. You're live streaming every day now. I'm definitely proud of you. So tell us about what you talk about.
Yes, I stream every day, 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. I'm sorry,
Eastern
Monday through
time?
Saturday. Uh and Sunday, 7:30 a.m. So yeah, I stream every day and we talk about news of the day generally. When the news is slow, I play a very bad guitar over here. And that's about it. We stream every day and 7:30 a.m. on Sundays. And we call it the Sunday session. And we solve we solve the world's problems on Sunday mornings over coffee. Come on through.
So you're doing it over coffee? Anything spiritual? Are
Yes, our
you?
Sunday session isn't so much spiritual as it is a quiet experience. Um, we try and focus on the weekend, essentially, right? And preparing ourselves for like the week, right? The whole idea is that you get 7 days a week. 5 of those days you have to work for somebody else and do what somebody else wants you to. Your weekend shouldn't be about you being happy not to be at work because that means you're still mentally thinking about work. Your weekend should be about trying to do something interesting for you, like barbecue, cook, take the kids out, do whatever it takes to build those memories where when your work days are over, you're not stressed out, you know, in a rickety case because you were obsessed with like the environment of work. People are important. You're a social animal. Get social. So yeah, exactly. Don't
All
even
right.
think about it. Don't think, like just a lot of people Saturdays are like, I'm glad I'm not at work. And then by Sunday, like Sunday rolls around, then they're like, I gotta work tomorrow. So you know what I mean? So you're somehow always thinking about it. And what you want
You
to
know, you
remember
know
that
what
your
I
weekend is, you should start thinking about your weekend by like Thursday, Friday, and have some sort of loose shit cooked up. And since nobody can go to the movies, I'm telling you, man, you gotta. Your life is you can do it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But all right.
no, I'm just saying, as long as you enjoy what you do,
Well, not that's very few people do though. That's why a lot of people are quitting their jobs, right? So I'm saying that if you happen to want to quit your job but you can't, you can still sort of rescue some of that energy in your weekend, right? Um, People don't even look forward to the weekend; they just look forward to not working, right? If you had a project every weekend and every weekend it got more, I'm gonna build a boat or a pyramid or whatever, and each weekend it got a little more done, right? You'd be
hmm
looking forward to your weekend. You'd be looking forward to getting back to that. No one does that. They just look forward to not being at work, and that's really not where the health of your whole thing is, right? Your whole soul, I guess. Yeah, you have to find joy and your purpose. What is your purpose? Right. And maybe you can only do your purpose on the weekend. Or maybe if you don't have a purpose, you'll find one. You know what? I decide to make a cooking channel or workout channel, or I decide to go hiking once a week. Or I'll get a dog and we'll walk on the weekend. Whatever. Right? Whatever it is. As long as it's about you and whatever your energy is in your time, which is the weekend, versus going, I'm glad I'm not at work this Saturday, and then Sunday
sure.
going, I gotta work tomorrow, and then looking forward to doing that same routine. You've got to find some sense of something.
That is true. That is true. True, I want to thank you for coming through. We got this done in under 45 minutes. Want to give big shout outs to Brian and Nazim and James and Tony D and Mike and
Yep.
Frida and everyone who made wonderful donations. I want to thank you
Like
guys.
and subscribe. That is the rule.
Um, Everyone else who just chimed in, I want to thank you. That means even more. Hope you guys are enjoying the week and hope to see you guys
Tomorrow's hump
broadcasting.
day.
So when I can be in the comment field making my snide comments. So other than that, True, I will speak with you again in the future, my friend.
Absolutely.
Much love and
Everyone in the
talk
chat,
to
have a
you
good
soon.
evening and a strong week.